Yesterday, Bleacher Report came out with a redraft of the 2016 NBA entry draft, and they actually ranked Pascal Siakam lower than Ben Simmons. So in today's video, we're going to break down the entire horrible list that they put out and also go through why there could be something bigger that Bleacher Report is doing here that you're not noticing. Let's get into it. What's going on, NBA and Raptors fans? It's Jacob here, back with Amateur Sports for another Toronto Raptors YouTube video. On this channel, I bring you the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news, and I'm doing it all throughout the offseason. So if you like what you see from today's video, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You can help us on the road to 12,000 subscribers and get all this great Raptors content in return. And also, if you find yourself enjoying this video along the way, be sure to drop a like to give that extra little bit of support. But let's go through the list here that Bleacher Report put out for their 2016 NBA draft redraft. Now, this draft is pretty loaded with talent, some top heavy talent here. There are a lot of great players here, but I think that the list they put out here is just inexcusable for a number of reasons, and those reasons do go beyond just Pascal Siakam being where he is on this list, and you'll see it in just a second. Like, honestly, looking at this list, like, I want to say it's unbelievable that they would actually rank him as low as he is, but also it's like, it's believable. I mean, Raptors fans, we are so accustomed to getting so much criticism for our team, criticism for our players, and to be honest, a lot of Raptors fans are guilty of overly criticizing Pascal Siakam in the past, and he shut up a bunch of those haters over the course of this season. That was very nice to see, but Siakam especially is not exempt from getting just completely disrespected and completely ridiculed amongst NBA media in general, and it is no surprise that a report as blasphemous as this comes from Bleacher Report. I am notoriously a hater for Bleacher Report on this channel, and for very good reasons. Their reporting kind of sucks. The reports they put out, especially guys like Jake Fisher, especially when it comes to the Raptors, are inaccurate. A lot of the times, to me, they seem fabricated, and when it comes to making lists like this, general NBA content, you really have to question what kind of people they're actually hiring to put this stuff out, because take a look at this list. Pascal Siakam is ranked 6th in a redraft. Pascal Siakam legitimately ranked 6th on this list. The order goes Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray, Dejounte Murray, Ben Simmons, Pascal Siakam, Damontas, Sabonis, Fred VanVleet at 8th, which is another conversation that we need to have, followed by Jakob Poeltl ahead somehow of Malcolm Brogdon in the 10th position. Now, this is just ludicrous. Pascal Siakam being 6th on this list. I mean, let's go through the accolades that Pascal Siakam has. He was an MIP, which, you know, is cool, but I guess it doesn't necessarily count to how good a player is in terms of their accolades and their legacy and their career. So that's just one thing that he has, and it is something that you need to mention. But also, he has been an all-star. He has been in the All-NBA teams twice, and he is also an NBA champion. Out of all the players on this list, in this top 10, other than Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam has more championships than all of them combined, and including Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam has more All-NBA appearances than everybody else in the 2016 draft combined. Pascal Siakam has 2. The entire 2016 class, other than him, has just 1, and that player is Ben Simmons, who I believe is very inaccurately ranked above Pascal Siakam in this list. And he's not the only player ranked above Pascal Siakam in this list. I mean, Siakam is a surefire top 3. I don't really want to go into that a bunch, but Siakam is a surefire top 3. He's more impactful than Ben Simmons, and we'll go a little bit more in depth on Ben Simmons in just a second. He's much more impactful than Dejounte Murray and Jamal Murray. Like, that is not even close. The success that Pascal Siakam had in his NBA career goes far beyond what Jamal Murray and Dejounte Murray have accomplished in their careers here. Jamal Murray never even been an all-star, never even been in an all-NBA team. Like, there's just no question he's above Jamal Murray. And I think Dejounte Murray should be above Jamal Murray for that matter. Like, I think that's inaccurately represented as well. If you ask any single coach in the NBA, any GM in the NBA, they'd rather have Pascal Siakam and Dejounte Murray on their team, ignoring the age of the players, because obviously that could be a factor. Ignoring the age. Ask anybody in the league who they'd rather have, they would all say Pascal Siakam, and I have a considerable amount of confidence in that statement. Let's put Siakam up in the top 3 where he should belong. Brandon Ingram, okay. if you really want to put Brandon Ingram top of this redraft, like, I'm not going to like say that it's wrong. Like, everybody has their own opinion here, and maybe their opinion here is that Ben Simmons and Dejounte Murray and Jamal Murray are above Siakam. That's wrong, and like that's something I completely disagree with. But like, if you have Brandon Ingram top of your list, that's something I can be like, okay, I can understand your train of thought there. As it comes to Jaylen Brown, I think, again, like, I can understand why people would put Jaylen Brown ahead of Pascal Siakam, but that is not one that I'm really willing to accept here. Pascal Siakam does a lot more than what Jaylen Brown does. Jaylen Brown's a very good player, and I'm not disputing that in any way whatsoever here, but Jaylen Brown, you guys criticize Pascal Siakam for being a second option here. Well, we've seen what Pascal Siakam can do as the primary option on his team here. Pascal Siakam willed this Raptors team to 48 wins. Obviously, he had a bunch of help in doing that, but Pascal Siakam willed his team to 48 wins. He was absolutely phenomenal, sensational this season, and was rewarded with an All-NBA appearance, something that Jaylen Brown has never accomplished in his NBA career. Jaylen Brown we've only ever seen as the second option here, and Pascal Siakam, when he was a second option, helped the Raptors to win an NBA championship. But again, I will say there's some things Jaylen Brown does where I can understand why people might rank him above Pascal Siakam. I think Pascal Siakam is the better scorer. I think Pascal Siakam is the far superior defender. And I also believe Pascal Siakam is better at creating his own shot. His handles are a lot better. He's a better playmaker. He's a better rebounder. Like, there's a lot of stuff that he does better. As it comes to Brandon Ingram, just from a pure offensive side of it, like, he's just such a pure scorer. Like, we saw that in the playoffs. I know it was only one series, but against Phoenix, we saw this guy rise to the occasion as the number one option for that team. And that's just a small sample size, but we've seen over the last couple of seasons what Brandon Ingram do from an offensive standpoint. Sure, more talented than Pascal Siakam, but Brandon Ingram is not a good defender. And there's a ton of footage out there of Pascal Siakam absolutely frying Brandon Ingram in coverage, and the fact that the Pelicans had to take Brandon Ingram off of Siakam because Siakam just couldn't stop scoring there. So from a defensive standpoint, like, Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying he's a bad defender. I think Siakam's better. Brandon Ingram is a bad defender, and Siakam and Jaylen Brown are both much better defenders, especially Pascal Siakam there. So in my redraft, sure, call it bias, whatever, but like, I struggle to see the redraft not being Pascal Siakam going 1, but I think what is accurate about this list to me is that Siakam goes 6 and the Raptors still wind up with the best player on the list despite him being 6th ranked. And that's just a little bit funny to me here. Now, as it comes to Ben Simmons, the guy I put in the thumbnail and I may have put in the title, Ben Simmons, he is a guy who's been on an All-NBA team. He is a guy who has multiple All-Star appearances here, but I don't think anybody is taking Ben Simmons over Pascal Siakam in 2022. We're talking about a redraft. We're talking about what they've done in their career so far. If you could have Siakam, who gets better every year, who is willing to, actually play for his team in the big games, in the big moments, and especially the biggest moments, like the closeout game of an NBA championship run, I think everybody would take Pascal Siakam over Ben Simmons. And even from a pure talent standpoint, I mean, let's look at Ben Simmons' stats over the course of his career. Like, young players are supposed to get better year after year. They're not supposed to stay the same or get worse like you see here with Ben Simmons. Like, he has just not done anything to improve his game. And you can't convince me that the level that he is at right now is at the level, or has ever been at the level, of what Pascal Siakam produced in even this most recent season. Like, the talent there is clearly in favor of Pascal Siakam. Ben Simmons is the better defender. He is an exceptional defender, one of the best defenders in the NBA. But from an offensive standpoint, there is so much that limits his game that just does not limit Pascal Siakam in any way. Siakam can score on all 3 levels. If you don't agree that he has anything in his bag, then I encourage you to watch a bunch of highlights and even just full games from this season. Like, he's got everything. He's got all the tools. One thing maybe he's struggled with this season is the pull-up 3, which he kind of strayed away from, but his 3-point percentage was great. His field goal percentage, especially in the paint, was exceptional. His mid-range percentage was great this season. His playmaking numbers, best in his career. His rebounding numbers, best in his career. Like, I really can't even find a justifiable argument to put Simmons, Murray, or the other Murray ahead of Siakam. Sure, as it comes to Brown and as it comes to Ingram, if you made the case that those guys are going above Siakam, then okay, I can maybe understand that. I disagree respectfully, but I can see the train of thought in which those guys go above Pascal Siakam in some people's mock drafts or redrafts, whatever you want to call it. My redraft most certainly has Pascal Siakam number 1, and it most certainly does not have Fred VanVleet going 8. This guy was an all-star last season. He was one of the best players for the Raptors in an NBA Finals run where he actually took away a Finals MVP vote from Kawhi Leonard, who, oh my goodness, Kawhi Leonard, he carried. Without Kawhi Leonard, the Raptors don't win that championship. Of course they don't win that championship. If you take the best player off of any team that has ever won an NBA championship, then they likely don't win a championship as well. Like go through every single team in NBA history. Any team that won a championship, take away their best player, do they still win a championship? Like, obviously not. I would say 99% of the cases, they do not win their NBA championship. So, of course, Kawhi being there helped them win an NBA championship. Like, that's why you go and get the good players. But Siakam, VanVleet had such prominent roles on that team making it happen. You need to have other players than just the one to win a championship. And LeBron can completely attest to that, being the best player on the team and having not quite the supporting cast. You just can't get over the line there, and these players help do that. Fred VanVleet, I believe, should be above Damontas Sabonis, but I can respectfully put him in 7th on this list. I wouldn't put him above Jamal Murray. I think that's a little bit fair. I don't think I'd put him above Dejounte Murray. I definitely wouldn't put him above Dejounte Murray. And Ben Simmons, for what it's worth with his defense, okay, I can keep him above Fred VanVleet, but like that's still a little bit low, but that isn't as heinous of a crime here as putting Pascal Siakam 6 on this list. But the bigger thing that we may not be noticing about this, as Bleacher Report puts out this list, it just seems like it's a joke. Like this is such a bad list that is almost a joke, but like, what if that is exactly what it is? Raptors fans online, on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere, are very passionate about their team, and they're very quick to defend their team, and they're very vocal about defending their team. So when a list as horrible as this comes out, tons of Raptors fans are going to send backlash, but maybe that is exactly what Bleacher Report wants here. Maybe that is exactly what is done by design for something like this, because they know, like some people who put out content, the best piece of content in terms of engagement that they get are Raptors slander, because they get so much engagement, they get so many comments, they get so many shares from Raptors fans ridiculing the statement. But all clicks, all publicity for these people a lot of time is good publicity. So when an article like this comes out, Raptors fans jump all over it and get it a ton of clicks. And maybe by design, that is exactly what they want. Maybe by design, they purposely put Siakam lower than like he very clearly should be, because they're going to get this huge rise out of Raptors fans. And me commenting on that is very hypocritical because, well, I just made an entire YouTube video about it, but this is something that I wanted to comment on. And even if it is true, this is something that I still want to comment on. And I'm not fully convinced on that theory, but regardless, you come here for my opinion on basketball-related matters concerning the Toronto Raptors. This is a basketball-related matter, especially concerning the Toronto Raptors, in my opinion, that I enjoy discussing. I do this channel and I make these videos for my enjoyment first and foremost, because I like doing them. And second of all, I really like making them for you guys who love watching the videos. But the channel, anybody who has any YouTube channel out there, you have to do it for yourself. This is something that I wanted to talk about, but I really feel like Bleacher Report perhaps does things like this on purpose to get that engagement and hate out of Raptors fans. But that is all I really have to say on this list. What did you guys make of Bleacher Report's list? Am I in way over my head here? Is Siakam right where he should be, or do you agree that he has been disrespected and needs to be a lot higher? Let me hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because that is it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy. It does go a long way to supporting the channel, supporting the brand, and be sure for the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news. You subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports and help us on the road to 12,000 subscribers, and I promise I'll keep you entertained all throughout the offseason and into future seasons for the Raptors. Check out our Discord with the link in the description. Check out our Twitch with the link in the description, and I'll see you again next time for another video.